Hello, welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm your grateful host, Dax Shepard. Today we have an exciting guest on. His name is Johnny Knoxville, but that's not really his name. His name is PJ, or in fact, those are his initials, so that's not even his real name. But just suffice to say, people call him PJ who are friends with him, so you'll hear me referring to him as PJ. He has a movie coming out on June 1st called Action Point that looks hysterical. The reason he made it is really funny. So we were very excited to have him in today. And, this dude has really gone through the ringer, and we get into it. I mean, he's hurt his penis very severely, more than once. And, we got to applaud him for that and celebrate him. And that's what we're going to do. Ooh, before I go and before you enjoy PJ/Johnny Knoxville, I want to say that merch orders, if you've pre-ordered merchandise, it is going out at the end of this week, which is coincidentally when Johnny's movie comes out. So if you've been patiently waiting, I thank you for your patience, and that stuff will be coming to you shortly. And if you want merch, please go to our website. It's armchairexpertpod.com. armchairexpertpod.com. We have fun stuff. Mugs, t-shirts, mugs, shirts, t-shirts, and mugs.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Not like headphones in general?
I do a radio show for Sirius, and I wear them, but I have to wear them half on, half off because I am so loud that I need to be able to hear.
Sure. Can I tell you what I like about the headphones?
What's that?
I know you're super curious.
I was going to ask.
Something about the headphones on and then us talking in the microphones, I kind of lose my other senses, and it becomes kind of an alternate reality for me. It almost feels like doing drugs. There's something about like locking into my ears. I've always noticed when I go do radio interviews, I'm like, I feel like I'm in a good mood when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's like canceling out everything else.
I'd rather just do drugs.
Yeah, those are quicker. And
no, I know what you mean, but I need my foot. I need one foot on the ground.
Right. I would imagine that about you.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, our guest on Armchair Expert is, Miss Johnny Knoxville, but friends call you PJ, right?
Yeah, PJ, Knox, whatever.
What's your birth name?
Philip John Clapp.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you did go by PJ as a kid.
Yeah.
And who started that? Your parents or?
Yeah, my parents, apparently they called me Chip for like a few months, which I'm so glad that didn't play out.
Was it while the TV show Chips was popular?
No. Well, I think maybe a little bit before.
A little overlap
before
though.
Chips.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you know, you and I both have rich friends, and do you find it the least bit bothersome when they refer to a private jet as a PJ?
I've never heard that before.
Would it bother
your
you?
friends are richer than mine.
Listen, we have many of the same friends. Just how I know you socially.
That's really annoying. That's like referring to Sandra Bullock as Sandy.
Yes.
Like,
PJ makes it sound cutesy. Like, not only are you loaded, but look how cute this is. We're going to take a PJ over to Puerto Rico.
Oh, God. Maybe I can get an HJ on the PJ.
Yes, well, that's the goal of a PJ.
Yeah.
If you're not getting HJs, you've spent your money in the wrong direction.
What are you doing?
But you all your buddies growing up, I'm just fixated on your name for half a second. All your buddies called you PJ.
Yeah.
Or did they didn't call you by your last name? Because where I'm from, everyone called each other by their last names.
My coaches would call me by my last name.
Clapp.
Yeah.
That could be a rough last name to be called in high school, right?
Well, like in middle school, I wasn't even sure what it was. But as soon as I got my letters jacket freshman year, they put Clapp on the back, and I just got murdered.
What sport did you play that you got a jacket?
Baseball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What position? I know so little about baseball, but
pitcher and first base.
So you were the stud. Aren't those the two best positions, and maybe shortstop or something?
Shortstop's usually your best athlete. Catcher as well. Catcher's like the quarterback.
Okay.
The pitcher controls the game, but the catcher controls everything else.
I'm basing this, I think, on don't the pitchers get paid the most in the?
It depends.
Okay,
it depends.
They got a hit too.
Yeah, I think maybe the hitters probably get paid It's probably neck and neck.
Okay. And how long did you play baseball?
From 6 until I was 18. Then
all through high school.
Yeah, and then I hurt my arm my senior year, so then baseball was done.
Heard it from pitching, or
Yeah.
heard it? You did. Mm-hmm. Did you have aspirations? Did you think you were going to play in college, or?
Yeah, I could have played college ball. But,
Really?
Yeah, but I don't think I would have done. I couldn't have done much after college ball, but
Right.
But I could have done that.
And now, had all this happened to you in 2018, could you have benefited from that surgery people get now?
I'm
Like, could
happy
they
to
have-
get it. Like I'm supposed to get it earlier this month. I get it maybe next month.
Could I give it to you here on the podcast?
Yes, yes.
I have a cadaver tendon in that little fridge next to the Red Bull.
I love it. Where's the anesthesiologist is the most important thing.
I
I'll do it.
assumed. Okay.
Oh,
Sure.
perfect.
I assumed you came with enough stuff to put you out.
Right.
We'll just
Well,
have Monica oversee it.
More stuff to wake me up than put me out.
Right. That's what part of the day we're in, right?
Yeah.
Still getting back.
It's right pocket, not left pocket part of the day.
Yeah, you're on the climb, right?
Yeah.
When do you peak out? Like 4 p.m., 5 p.m.?
I usually peter out around 6 in
Okay.
bed by 9:30.
Right. I went camping with you. We went
Yes.
camping together. And yeah, you put her down early. You circle the runway and then you start your descent.
Oh man,
Around 9, right?
it's pathetic. And you did the most kind and manly thing for me. My car, I'm not a great driver, so there's dents here and there, and you just walk up with like a dent fixing suitcase, and he just walked. I didn't ask him; he just walked up and started fixing the dents in my car. I was like, "That is so kind."
I didn't know it was your car. I just kept your.
Otherwise, you'd put more dents.
Yeah, I would have. I would have spray painted. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Clap.
Yeah.
No, but I kept you drive a Suburban, not to blow your identity in case people are calling me in LA looking for you.
Oh yeah.
But you drive a black Suburban, and we were in cabins next to one another. So I kept walking by your Suburban every time I went in and out to get a diaper or whatnot, and I kept noticing this pretty good grapefruit sized dent in your fender. And I thought, it drove me nuts. I thought, I bet if I popped the hood, I could reach my hand in there and kind of pop that out manually. And then you walked up and I was just under the hood of your vehicle, and I had been inside the vehicle to pop the hood and whatnot. And you caught me red-handed.
But just to go to that place, like, because I can't fix anything. I don't know, like, to even go, if I could MacGyver that dent out, I can't even. So you're really obviously very handy.
I'm mechanical, yeah. But I think OCD as well. So just that
Oh,
dent.
I'm that, but I can't fix anything.
What a madness you must live in. Because if you're seeing all this stuff that's driving you nuts, but you can't do anything about it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a purgatory.
Yeah.
No wonder you're medicated.
Well, no, that kind of stuff doesn't. I don't go OCD on that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff? You just do things repetitively?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, I've largely stopped, but as a kid, it fucking plagued me. Like I had these routines that took 10 minutes. For me to take a shit, I had to be bare naked, for starters.
Boing.
Yeah. I had to be bare naked. I was in a phase where I had to do every single thing twice, right? So when it came time to wipe my butt, I also had this weird OCD thing. I had to take the toilet paper roll, walk out of the bathroom, touch the hallway wall, then come back in. Now I've got what
Before.
after I pooped. After I pooped. So yeah, I'm walking around. Is that what
So
you're
it's
getting at?
clean. No, clean toilet paper.
Yeah. So
You
on the
weren't shitting
roll.
up the
Off the
wall.
roll.
No. Everything was nice and tidy.
Okay.
But I just want you to imagine I was
Spackling his mom's wall.
I'm going to really go for it. So I also had to be in what is a position that people now get in with the squatty potty, right? So I basically would be standing on the toilet, crouched down, bare naked. Then it came time to wipe. I had to walk out in the hallway, touch the hallway, come back. But then I had to do that twice.
While you were still a little messy back there, you would have to touch the wall.
That's what
Of
it sounds
course.
like.
So you're
course.
just
Yeah.
sloshing
I'm
it
moving
around.
around. Yeah.
You're making it so much
Yeah.
worse for yourself.
But I'm 8, so you
Right.
know it's cute. I hope. Like if I did this now, it would be a real drag. But,
Oh, it's just all the getting matted and all the hair.
well, again, there was no hair back
Right.
there. It was like it was nice and clean. And then so my anxiety of walking into the hallway bare naked because I didn't want anyone to see me. I didn't want anyone to know I had this ritual. And then by the time I was done, I had at least 30 feet of toilet paper that I didn't need.
Oh, you wouldn't break it off.
Well, I would start, making it usable into usable sizes.
But when you walked across, it was one piece.
Yes, that I was
4 times.
that I was running out like a garden hose, and I would touch the wall, and then I would come back in, and this was my ritual, and I didn't want anyone to know. And we went to this amusement park.
Love hearing about your potty
Okay.
routine.
So we go to this amusement park in Ohio. We stop at Pizza Hut on the way home. I have a stepdad then that I don't like. He's an angry man and he's violent. And I go to the bathroom at Pizza Hut. I've been holding it all day at the amusement park. I'm in there bare fucking naked in a public bathroom. I'm crouched on the toilet seat, and I've been in there for a while. And all of a sudden I hear it's knocking at the door, and it's my stepdad. And he's like, "What are you doing in there?" And I was like, I felt so vulnerable because I was naked in that weird position
in a public restaurant?
in a dirty public restaurant.
Right.
Well, it was a fucking Pizza Hut. So he goes, "What are you doing in there?" And I go, "I was just going to the bathroom." And he goes, "You better not be doing what I think you're doing." Which,
what did he think you were doing?
Well, now in retrospect, I think he was accusing me of beating off in there.
In the Pizza Hut?
In the Pizza Hut bathroom in Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio. But I thought he meant, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You better not be doing what I think
You
you're
thought
doing."
he knew about your ritual.
Whole routine. And it was the most panicked I've ever been in my life. But I want to hear, did you have these weird things as a kid?
Yeah, not that creative.
Okay. Thank you for euphemizing it.
Mine, I would just bite my fingernails and toenails down to the quick. Just little things like super obsessive things. Like
Has anyone ever told you what OCD comes from?
Isn't it fear and you're trying to control things?
You're trying to control things. Yeah. I've since talked to a psychiatrist said that's too simple. It's actually a part of your brain could be bigger than the rest. But regardless, let's say it's control. Do you remember what it was that was kind of chaotic? That maybe when all this started.
My childhood, sometimes my parents would fight and whatnot. So, and I'm like really sensitive, and so that would really freak me out.
And you have siblings?
Yes.
What order are you?
I'm the baby.
Oh, you're the baby. And did they take care of you?
They ruined me.
That's why you can't fix anything.
Yeah. No, I literally had to do nothing between my mom babying I was just, they'd either be babying me or putting me up to do something terrible. So.
And did your dad watch on and just go, "Oh, they're spoiling this kid. He's going to."
No, I was like a toy for them. I was programmed to attack people from the time I was 3 and 4. My dad, all his friends, "Hey, go hit him in the cods." And so a 3 and 4-year-old, I would go over and just hit somebody in the nuts as hard as I could. And I thought that's how you said hello.
Sure.
So
was there a big gap between the two sisters and you? Were you you a miracle baby or a
no? My dad called it an M&M baby.
What's that mean?
You came between menstruation and menopause.
Oh, okay.
He said the best part of you ran down your mama's crack, boy.
That's a line from Buford T. Justice.
Yeah. I kind of delivered it like that.
Yeah. When we get home, I'm gonna punch your mama in the mouth. So what state did you grow up in? Tennessee. Knoxville? Yeah.
Yep.
And in a rural area or in the city?
Well, it was the city, but we had a pony in our backyard because it used to be the county. And then since we got the pony grandfathered in because it used to be the county. So there was woods surrounding my house.
Right. And you could go get lost in there and stuff?
Yeah. That was fun. Because my sisters, when I was 6 or 7, they were about to move out. So most of my childhood, I was kind of only child in the house.
Right.
After a certain point.
Yeah. And I've made all these assumptions about you because I've known of you for 25 years now.
25.
I think. When did Jackass first come out? Even before that, you guys had made a video that kind of circulated Hollywood. And it was you guys doing some crazy stunts. And I assume that video was used in pitching the show eventually, right? But you had a bulletproof vest on and you got shot, right?
Well, I was supposed to get shot.
Okay.
But when we got out there, my friend refused to shoot me.
Okay.
So I had to shoot myself.
Oh, even worse.
It's even worse because I'm like, oh God, is this going to backfire? And I was broke at the time, and I bought the cheapest vest they had.
Oh Jesus.
And I'm like, hey, these vests, they're good vests, right? And they're like, these are the top of the line. Da, 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 da. I'm like, great, because I'm going to shoot myself while wearing a bullet. And they're like, can we call you back?
Oh, sure.
And they called me back and there's like, don't do it. And I was like, too late. I've already said I would.
I already promised three knuckleheads.
Yeah.
If I don't go through with this, I'll never hear the end of it.
Well, no, I just feel I can't go back on it.
Absolutely.
You know? Especially if you go out there that far, you can't. It's just terrible.
But yeah, you had done that, and I had seen that. Like somehow a good friend of mine, who maybe you even knew, Kareem El Saifi, he's now since dead. You knew the Linsons, right? You knew.
Yeah, I know John.
Yes.
Art, yeah.
So that had ended up there. And my friend was an assistant to them. He's like, you got to fucking see this
I know
video.
Kareem was
he's
sweet guy.
He's the sweetest guy ever. Died. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I was at the funeral.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. So I knew of you. And I was fascinated with you for sure. And I thought you dressed cool and you looked cool. I just was very into the whole package. And I'm from
Vada package.
Vada package. And I'm from an area that's on the outskirts of Detroit, but again turns to rural farmland on the other side of us, right? Just west of where I grew.
Yeah.
So I've made all these assumptions about you. And one of them being is you must have, been in the woods, left to your own devices as a kid, lighting shit on fire and crashing shit. And is that accurate?
Yeah, I wasn't. I was relatively rowdy, but it's either in the woods or watching like the Wild Bunch or Sanford and Son with my father. We ate dinner around the television, and we were constantly watching television or watching some films. So that was such a big. I was either daydreaming or watching the results of other people's daydreams. Yeah,
but I guess what I'm saying is I can't imagine a kid that grew up in Manhattan has jumped over a bonfire or put a paint can full of gas in a bonfire or fucking lit something on fire out in a junk pile.
Right.
Where would they do that?
Yeah.
So there's a certain skill set that you can kind of hone in the country, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you start doing the show. And it's immediately everyone loves it, right? How long had you been pursuing doing something in entertainment before the show started? What age were you when Jackass started?
When it came on the air, I believe I was 29, and I'd moved out here after high school to act, but I didn't do any. I just pretty much stayed loaded until I was like 25, 24, and then my wife got pregnant. And I was, I gotta think of something quick.
Yeah.
I had a daughter, and that forced me to, I got an agent. I started doing commercials. Linson took some of the things I was writing and sent it to an editor, and he got me jobs writing for magazines.
John really?
Did. Yeah.
Like what magazines were you writing?
Bikini.
Okay.
Those kinds of things.
The famous Bikini magazine.
There's a couple of others they had, and then I wrote for Big Brother and some of the
never like Vice. Was Vice a thing?
Vice wasn't a thing that I knew of yet.
Right. It probably was in New York. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think they started in Canada, but I didn't know of them for a few years.
But that would have been a really good fit for you.
Oh yeah,
right. Because I remember the first time I read it, it was like a guy who's just a normal dude, not an addict like me. Was like, I'm going to try crack. I'm going to smoke crack for a few days, and then he'd write an article about it, which was very dangerous.
Yeah,
back then.
In the Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, the book, the Vice book. It just has pictures of different people on different drugs. I thought that was great.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
When did you start doing drugs?
Well, I had allergy-induced asthma.
Oh.
So from 5 and 6 years old, I was taking 4 or 5 pills a day.
Really?
Yeah. When I would have a bad asthma attack and the inhaler wouldn't work, sometimes that doesn't help.
Yeah.
I would have to go to the emergency room, and they would shoot me up. They give you a shot of adrenaline.
Yes.
And it's quite a jolt.
I've had it for bee stings because I'm allergic. Yeah. Especially when you're little. It's an electrifying experience.
Yeah.
You're real shaky.
Yeah, but it really, then you'd get a breathing treatment, and then I would start settling down.
Uh-huh.
So I just
So you've had a relationship with your body is you can't regulate your body basically, and there's these outside things you put in your body, and then you gets to where you want to be. So that's like kind of a formative relationship with anything, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate the hospital, this or that," and I get it. But with me, I would be so scared when I would get in these attacks that when I go to the hospital, I would feel better after. So that was my first. So I identify with that.
Yeah, you have
as opposed to the dread of it.
Yeah, you have a great association with the hospital,
and I'm in them a lot doing stunts. So it's like they make me feel better. They fix things.
So how do you go from auditioning for presumably like, KFC ads and whatnot to deciding I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do crazy stunts that no one else will do. And then I'm going to try to make that a show. How does that come about?
I love Hunter S. Thompson.
Right.
And so a lot of the articles I was doing was like my poor man's imitation of a participatory
gonzo
journalism. And so it started down that route. And then I had an idea for an article. I saw some guy getting pepper sprayed on the news. And I just thought that was so funny.
Sure.
And so I'm like, well, I should do an article where I get pepper sprayed, stun gun, taser gun, and then I'll test the bulletproof vest on myself. And everyone loved the idea, but no one wanted to pay for it or participate. They would like bring it to us afterwards. Well, I didn't have any money to buy any of that stuff.
Right.
And so the only magazine that would have anything to do with it was Big Brother, Jeff Tremaine's magazine, who went on to direct Jackass. And I was just going to write an article, and they were doing skateboard videos. They were working on their second one, and he goes, "We'll film it too." I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But then I show up to the camera guy the next morning. I pull up to get him, and I'm like, all right, get in. And he goes, okay, here's the camera. You hit play here. I'm like, you're not coming? He's like, I can't. Because there was a gun involved. No one wanted, even they didn't want to be involved with it.
Well, there's like 3 layers. You don't want to witness someone fucking die. That's just out of the gates when you wake up in the morning. You're like, I hope I don't see anyone die today.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the liability of it, right? You're like, I don't want to be in a courtroom or be deposed over this.
Yeah, the guy who took photos for me, Jeff Bender, we got out there and he was trying to talk me out of it. He's like, I saw a friend of mine die once doing a stunt. I'm like, that's not helping, Jeff.
Right. Not the time for that story. Yeah.
But it was pretty.
Similarly, I once was in an off-road race and, I had some nerves about it. And as I pulled up, the guy who started the race had a claw and his face was completely melted because he had caught fire in an off-road race. And he's the last thing you see, every racer sees as you take off. I was like, I'd prepared for maybe a stiff neck or a broken bone, but I did not think I might be melted after this. It was very disturbing.
It doesn't fill you with confidence.
No, it's maybe at the finish line you bring that guy out. He should be giving everyone the checkered flag, but not like have a good race.
Yeah, when you're doing anything along those lines, you have to commit.
Yes.
And if anything like that you see or someone's telling you not to do it, I can't. Even when we're doing stunts today, if someone's negative on the set, we'll just, I won't.
You'll pull the plug.
Yeah. And we'll do it another time.
Okay.
And so can you compartmentalize the death? Like you can just remove that from your brain as an option.
Yeah, I don't go there. Like a few days out, you think about that. Mm-hmm. You're like, you kind of go over all the bad things that can happen.
Yeah.
But as it gets closer, I just try to calm down and then my magical thinking kicks in and then whatever fear's left, I just override.
But
which is not the healthiest thing ever.
Yeah, whatever.
But I think it's rare to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Most people, the closer you get, the more heightened those
ramping up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as a kid,
I have to.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to be clear on before we move on is as a kid, were you a daredevil, or was this something that you decided, fuck it, I have to be willing to do whatever it takes to be successful at journalism or be successful in another area, or were you always that?
I wasn't like the rowdiest guy in the class, but I was pretty rowdy.
Sure.
My father best explained it. Rolling Stone had asked him, why does he do what he does? He's like, well, he's like that Dominican baseball player. He ain't gonna get off that island by bunting.
That's probably a really great analogy.
Yeah. I was at that point of like, I have a daughter now and I have to do something and fast.
Yeah.
And I just took all my interest at that moment, which were like Hunter S. Thompson. And
did you like Bukowski?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
yeah.
Bukowski.
He was
and John
kinda,
Infante.
Oh, sure. Ask the Dusk.
I had my daughter, she was born when I was 24.
Ay.
So,
oof.
Yeah, I was terrified.
Yeah. Now, look, I would have been an alcoholic, I think, no matter what happened. But I definitely think during that period, I needed relief. Like I needed some hours of the day where I wasn't obsessing about the fact that I was accomplishing nothing. I needed relief very badly.
Right. Now, how long have you been sober?
13 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But yes, I was a very heavy drug user and a full-blown alcoholic. But for many years, I was like,
functioning.
Yeah. I went to college and stuff, and I went through the groundlings and stuff. But I was like, oh, I want to be Bukowski, so I'm killing it. Like my heroes were Hunter S. Thompson, Bukowski, all these other country outlaw musicians. So it didn't. I didn't feel
how you choose your heroes.
Yeah. For real. I didn't have any shame really about it. Like if I would blow 4 days on a bender, I would think, yeah, I'm bullseyeing what my heroes did.
Yeah. Townes Van Zandt did it. Why can't I?
Yeah. I'm sure you have. If you watched the Tales from the Tour Bus thing that Judge does.
I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
And I had read Waylon's autobiography, so I thought it was really up to speed on him. But did you watch the 2-part Waylon one?
I've seen them all.
Okay. Waylon Jennings is my hands down favorite musician ever.
Yeah.
And,
I love him.
Oh, he's the greatest. The test of him is when you put him in the Highwaymen, and now he's with the best. He's with the best of the best. And when he comes in and starts singing, you go, oh, no, right. That's the top of the mountain right there. I was a dam builder across the river deep and wide. And you're like, oh, shit, Waylon.
Waylon is so, he was like a handsome guy and had the amazing voice and a wonderful guitar player. And he was really, he was an outlaw country guy, but he's also a punk.
Yeah, totally.
He was a punk rock hillbilly.
And weirdly liberal, too, for that scene. Like he was, America, that song America, he's like very inclusive of Native Americans and all these things. But there's a part in that Tales from the Tour Bus where he and the band are, his old bandmates are talking about like how many amphetamine pills they would be taking. And right before the show, they just kind of make sure they were all on kind of the same level.
Yeah, I was taking the same drug.
Yeah. And the guy goes, I'm taking 6. Mike's taking 6. Hoss, how many have you taken? And Waylon's like, 30.
Yeah.
Like times 5 of what everyone else was on. I don't think I really realized the appetite he had. I knew he was like full-blown coke addict, but I didn't realize like the real appetite, like a kilo a week.
Johnny Cash would take 100 Dexedrine a day. 100.
Oh my God.
And Waylon, I heard like go through like an OZ of blow a day.
Yeah.
An 8-ball would be fine for all 5-6 people in this room.
Yeah, for a whole great evening.
The outlaw country guys partied so much harder than any of the rock guys or any of the punk guys. They're not even on the scoreboard.
And it's under this veil of like wholesome music, like a middle of America wholesome music. It's really funny and ironic. But I imagine because when they got into the details of him, like regularly his schedule was up for 5 days, down for 2 days, up for 5 days. And I was thinking, my goodness, what did he feel like towards the end?
Yeah, I think over it.
Yeah, probably over it. Yeah. But you make all these decisions when you're young and you're kind of proceeding through life as if you're never going to see 40, right? Isn't that kind of the...
No, I didn't. I wasn't in that mindset.
I don't mean like you'll be dead, but just like who gives a shit about 20 years from now? Or did you?
I was in that mindset.
Right.
But I wasn't into I'm going to die before 40 mindset.
Oh, no. Yeah, but I just thought I'm not too worried about how I'm going to feel at 40.
Yeah, but I don't think that's really special to you and I. I think that's just how kids are.
Yeah,
most of them.
I think you're right, but I do think a lot of people were very afraid of drugs, the long-term effects of drugs.
Right.
And I just wasn't that concerned about it.
Well, if you're taking them, you're not. You're like the people that were concerned weren't taking them.
Yes.
We didn't have those concerns.
Yes. Okay, so you have this video. I see it. It kind of goes all around Hollywood, and then you magically somehow you get MTV to get on board. And how did they deal with the liability of that?
They only had to deal with it for 9 months, and then I quit the show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we unfortunately had some copycat incidents where
people got hurt trying to replicate what you did.
And then it was an election year, and Joseph Lieberman picked our show and me personally to come down on, and Washington came down on Viacom and MTV.
Oh, really?
And it got impossible to do the show. We were on the air for 9 months, but they buy them in blocks of 8, and they call that 8 a season, even though it maybe lasts 3 months. By the time the third season, we're into our 6th month. All these lawyers were on it, and you can't jump off anything 4 feet or higher. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I decided none of us wanted to do a watered down version of the show, so I just quit. MTV was very upset.
Contractually, they certainly had you legally for 5 or 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah, probably, but I didn't read the contract.
And you
I just quit.
Okay.
But out of that came a good result is we did the movie. And then then we could do whatever we wanted because it was R-rated, and it opened up. We could do the things we couldn't do on television.
Oh,
but we still were.
So am I delusional? In my mind, there were many seasons,
24 episodes
that you shot all at once, and then you never did it again.
Yeah,
on
24 episodes over 9 months. Maybe there was 2 specials, so 26, and that's it. But they aired it for.
Yeah, I'm completely
10, 12 years.
If you would have asked me how many years that show was on, how many seasons, I would have definitely thought 6 or 7.
Oh, it was on for 10.
Yeah.
They just reran those episodes.
Yeah.
Well, then that kind of ruins one of my questions because the most exciting thing for me, because I'm a long time fan of Brad Pitt's, I'm so in love with him, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
And fucking Brad Pitt was on the show one episode, right? You guys had abducted him.
Yeah, we did 2 things with him.
So clearly it had aired enough for him to see it. To them, I assume that call came in from him, right? You guys weren't sitting around going, we should reach out to Brad Pitt, or did you?
No, it was. I think he was at Spike's one day, and we started talking. Or Spike had already talked to him about it.
Okay,
I think Spike maybe said, "Hey, Brad Pitt's up for doing something,"
but it hadn't aired yet.
It had already been on television for
a
couple 3 months.
Okay, so he had some sense of what he was saying yes to.
Yeah, and he came on the set, and we did the thing where we abducted him. I should sing it from the hot dog. What's the hot dog place on
Pink's?
Pink's, yeah.
And
then we put him in a gorilla suit. And we were just bombing the hill on Vine in Yucca.
In shopping carts, right?
It's not shopping carts. It was like little 4-wheelers or something.
Okay.
And we were all like...
worried you to kill Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
A national treasure.
Yeah. We're like, you don't need to get hurt, man. We need you to be... Because we were all concerned because he's such a good guy and so amazingly handsome.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But no, he just takes off down the middle of the street before anyone can get him to stop. He was down.
Yes.
So,
well, that's the thing. He even over delivers, doesn't he? That son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He
couldn't be any. He's a great guy.
Yeah, and he's from Oklahoma or some shit like that.
Yeah,
right?
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri. Yeah. So he's lit some shit on fire, I think, out in the woods.
Yeah, he's rowdy.
Yeah, he's rowdy.
We loved him. Everybody loves.
Did it cross your mind of like we gotta get him in a stunt. We gotta get that top off ASAP.
No, we put him in a gorilla suit. We took the most handsome guy on the planet and covered him up in a gorilla suit.
You would the opposite direction. Every idea I would have had would have been set in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Or a hot beach or something.
I don't blame you.
Or at least minimally raining,
Yeah,
like a
get that sheer see-through thing.
Yeah, it can be almost better than the shirt off.
Yeah.
So what is your what is your ego and your identity doing in that moment where you start this little thing, it's impossible, and then all of a sudden you have the biggest movie star on the planet participating in your little show. What's that experience like?
It was pretty overwhelming,
Yeah.
It for a few years you felt like you're living someone else's life, but just like we were talking about earlier, be careful how you choose your heroes. Because it's like, well, they were living it up.
Yeah.
So I should probably live it up. And that takes a toll after a while. And you have to reel it in at some point.
Yeah, well, I got to say, again, having been a fan of yours and looking at you from the outside and also having the relationship I've had with drinking and doing drugs, you're fascinating to me because you somehow played around the fire nonstop and then you just didn't go down.
Yeah.
Right? You went maybe as far as you can go without literally needing to go to rehab or to, ending up in jail or whatever the fuck, the things we do. And I remember watching you thinking God, is he going to be able to fucking ride this unicycle? And then to my amazement, you're one of the handful of people that got to do it hard and then somehow didn't go all the way. And people around you died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. I don't know. I also had a kid. So
yeah.
that kept me from going overboard.
That's what you were, tied to the dock with a little bit.
She saved me.
Yeah. How old is she now?
22. She's graduating college.
Have you ever told her that? Or is that too weird of a conversation?
Yeah, that would be.
Because you'd be admitting how much shit you did, or just it would be too saccharine for you?
I don't know how you deliver that. That's a lot of energy coming at your child.
It is.
That's a lot of pressure. It's tough to
I recognize it'd actually be way more for you than for her. 'Cause I'm trying to think if my dad was a coke addict and then got sober and died sober, but if he had told me, boy, if it wasn't for you, I would have gone all the way and died. I guess, that would just maybe be weird.
Yeah.
But when I said it first, it sounded really flattering. It would really warm her heart.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's
I guess let me come at it from another angle. I think we'd all like to think we saved someone's life before we die. That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like if you saw someone drowning or whatever, or pulled someone out of a car crash. So
yeah.
I'm just assuming it's kind of a, a really ubiquitous desire for us to save someone's life. But I'm rethinking the whole thing. Maybe she's an armchair and she'll find out.
Yeah.
But you said his name, Spike Jonze. He was involved right from the get-go?
Yeah, what Jeff and I were trying to figure out what kind of show we wanted to do. We're trying to develop a TV show, and then Jeff had went to high school with Spike in Maryland, so they were friends. I knew Spike a little, but Jeff and him were really close at the time.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, should we see if Spike wants to do this with us?
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah. At that point, what he had done the sabotage video.
Yeah, I mean the
what
Buddy
else?
Holly video. So many huge videos. He was
right,
and he was just getting. I think he may have been working on being John Malkovich at the time.
But what a lucky coincidence that Spike Jonze is in your circle at that time, right? Because this guy's one of the most gifted human beings alive. Do we agree?
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And he's not good at this or that. He's good at it all. Every side of the the business side, the entertainment, the creative. He sees it. He sees the whole field.
Did you see her?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I felt physically lovesick for 4 days after I saw it. I don't think I've had that feeling from a movie in any time I can remember. But I was I just felt like someone I love broke up with me for 4 days.
Yeah, it emotionally puts you through the ringer. It's wonderful, just brilliant writing and execution, and top to bottom.
So the movies, they, I don't know what your expectations were, but just me again on the outside thinking, oh, they're doing a movie. That'll be cool. What were your expectations?
Low. We never thought the show was going to get on TV.
Right.
And then when we did a movie, we're like, no one's going to come see it.
Right.
And so everyone felt that way.
Yeah.
So
well, it's a reality movie. I don't even know what were other reality features films then. Were there any? I can't remember any.
I have no clue.
Yeah, so you're like, basically, this is a documentary. You guys are releasing a documentary. Documentaries don't make $100 million. One has. You know?
Yeah.
How much did the first one make? You know, and if you can't remember, Monica will say in the fact check later. Over 100 million, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I can't remember.
Yeah, and you've made how many of them?
3.
3, and they've all been gigantic.
I think each one has done better, so that we've been very lucky in
Yeah.
that respect.
Yeah.
And Bad Grandpa did good. It's kind of from the same. It is from the same thing, but not everyone was involved.
Right. Are you uncomfortable talking about money?
I guess.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I'm not uncomfortable talking about your money, but I'm
Right.
about mine.
Yeah.
Do you care about money? Let's start there.
I as long as I do is to the point where I need to support my family.
Right.
You know, but I think again, if you have a family, I can't not imagine feeling that way.
Right.
Because that's the center of your whole life. You have people that depend on you and you want to take care of them.
Yeah. But did you get a sense of relief when those movies did what they did?
I would be relieved that I'm still walking.
Right.
There was that relief at the end of every film of like, thank God
you're not in a wheelchair or
yeah. Like I felt that way at the end of Action Point too.
the movie that that's coming out June
1st.
What happened in that you?
Well, it was inspired by Action Park, which was the most dangerous theme park of all time. It was insane. There's a 14-minute doc online that everyone should watch. The owner was like, I'm not going to hassle the kids with a bunch of rules. Let's leave safety up to them. And he did, and it was a shit show.
Okay, what state was this in?
New Jersey in the 70s, 80s, before class action
Before
lawsuits.
Jurisprudence.
Yeah.
In the documentary, like, what were people dying at this place?
Yeah, there were some of those. There were some of those instances.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So a lot of injuries.
The swimming pool, they had a couple of bad. The wave pool, they had a couple of bad instances.
Sure.
And they eventually painted the bottom of it black to make it easier to find the bodies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. This is more like a haunted house, this place.
But no, documentary, all the kids that went there just love it. It was like Lord of the Flies,
If you survived it made you stronger.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, it made you like help your immune system. Like girls would go in the water and get yeast infections.
Sure,
it was everything was so dirty.
Sure, right, yeah.
So
it really thinned out the herd, probably.
Yeah.
So you saw that documentary and you said this has to be a movie.
Yeah, Derek Freitas sent me the documentary, and he's like, "You have to see this." And that's what inspired the movie. And like, I'm the owner of a dangerous theme park, and that's a great world where I can do all my own stunts. And I asked the stunt guys, I'm asking you to do them like me. No cutting on the action, no pads.
Right.
We're not going to pads. We're going to dirt or concrete. And we did. And it was most injuries ever on a movie for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
47-ish. Yeah.
And does it hurt more now?
No.
It doesn't.
No, hurts the same.
Okay. But
I never was in that.
Did you guys
I wasn't never too involved with that side of it. I just wanted the footage.
Yeah.
And I knew the hurt was coming, but I just want the footage. And I can deal with that side of it.
Can I ask a question I wanted to ask
Yes,
earlier?
ma'am.
When you complete a stunt, what is the feeling? Is it relief or is it excitement or both? Or what is it? Because I'm so scared of everything. So I could never do that. And I don't know what that feeling would be.
It's overwhelming relief and joy
For having done something great.
Well, just that I am walking away from. Well, sometimes I don't walk. Sometimes I got knocked out a few times, and the stunt coordinator Charlie Grisham, He says, I always know when you're concussed because you get so sweet afterwards.
Yeah,
so-
become nicer.
I'm so sweet talking to him when we just talk shit to each other.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you
Interesting.
freak out when you see these documentaries about CTE disorder, whatever the football thing is, the brain disease? Do you like spin out about that?
I don't spin out, but it is a area of concern, and I have a neurologist that I've gotten, that I see, and they're in the middle of doing some tests, some baseline tests. After we got finished filming Action Point, and at that point I just had 3 concussions, and I was in the middle of doing the baseline test. Then we did reshoots. I got another concussion, so I have to go back and start those all over again. But at the time, my brain had completely reset itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how could he determine that? Is he looking in there with like a PET scan or something?
Yeah, I had like, there was a lot of
a little
wires.
helmet on with
yeah, there's a lot of things, and you have to do little tests. A lot of tests. You can't really test for it unless it's a autopsy. But I think
right.
I heard recently that there is some kind of something you can do. So I'll probably be looking into that.
Didn't mean to bring you down.
No, I know. I'm just I don't know how to answer that and be funny.
Well, I haven't. Because I haven't had a tenth of the many as you, but I had such a bad one that I will be watching that, and I'm like, oh my god, is my personality going to radically change at 50? Like when you hear these stories about
You
the football.
can,
It's really scary. I mean, if you got to lose anything, literally, your brain's the last thing you want to go bad on you, right?
Sometimes you can get more impulsive and angry.
Yes.
And
a lot of those, the wives will describe like all of a sudden I was living with a guy I'd never met. Like he was violent and explosive and all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're with a baller. She'll tell you right away if you start acting different.
Oh, yeah. She knows karate. She's not fucking around.
So you got more hurt on this than anything.
Yeah.
Did they ever have to shut down production while you healed from something?
Yes. By the end of the film, they could only film one side of my face.
What would it be a spoiler if you told me what happened to the other side of your face?
We put all the most dangerous stunts to the end, and one was I go flying off the Alpine slide.
Okay.
And we had been testing it a bunch with a stunt guy. He would go off and
in pads and a helmet.
Yeah. And we had it where I was flying like 20 feet in the air, about 6 feet off the ground. But when he would land, he would kind of roll out of it. And I'm like, I don't want to. First of all, I couldn't if I tried, but I definitely didn't want to make
like a
it
pro.
look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So boy, did I stick the landing.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
And I flew through the air like 20 feet, and then the only thing that stopped my forward momentum was my face hitting the ground.
Oh.
I get the worst concussion. I couldn't remember where I was really, and I told him Los Angeles. I was in Cape Town. Couldn't remember so many, but my memory came back and got checked out in the hospital. Went back to my hotel room, had blood in my nose, so I blew my nose. And when I blew my nose, my eye started coming out of its socket, and I popped it back in and went back to the emergency room. And what happened was, I didn't know, but they told me that on impact, my orbital lamina bone had just disappeared.
Okay.
It was just powdered.
Oh,
and when I was blowing my nose, I was blowing air behind it.
Yes.
You're just not expecting it.
Yeah, it really comes out of nowhere. Right?
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, really blindsided you.
I was just so relaxed, being back to the hotel room.
Take it easy.
Yeah, and then boing, 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 boing.
Oh, my goodness. And how on earth did they fix that? Would you have like a cheetah mandible in there now or something?
Well, I didn't. They just had to watch it for a few weeks, and
You couldn't blow your nose, obviously.
or sneeze for 6 weeks.
Oh, boy.
And I'm really
So
bad
no.
allergies, so I was just like, I don't know how this is going to work.
Right. No pepper on your food.
But they taught, like, ophthalmologist was like, oh, if you do have to do it like this, and just let it all go. Don't try to hold anything back.
And
And
you could really shoot your eyeball across
Yeah,
the room like
yeah.
a fucking ping pong ball.
But then, like 5 days later, I'm walking around Cape Town with Pontius, and he says something funny. I got an eye patch on and
Oh,
full on pirate. And for whatever reason, I laughed and I grabbed my nose and held, and doing, it comes out again.
Oh my God.
So double vision, I put it back in, but it only happened twice. Just the totality of all the injuries in the movie at the end, it was a lot. And I lost my mother in November, and then I got another concussion and lost a few teeth after that.
Oh yeah.
So
Did you have these talks with yourself at all where you're like, do you have any like existential crises where you're like, what's the end of this? How many times do I need to do this? Do you have any of those kind of moments?
I realized that you can only take so many chances.
Yeah.
And I've been I've been injured a lot, but I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
So I know it eventually has to stop. I'm not very body conscious, thank God. I go to the doctors like, I don't know, once or twice a month. I go see some doctor for something. My back was pretty bad for a while, but it's kind of evened out.
But did something happen to your penis, you were saying on Stern, right?
Yeah, I broke my penis once too.
On a fence?
No, I was trying to backflip a motorcycle. And I don't know how to ride a motorcycle.
Sure.
I saw a bunch of yours downstairs. You look like you're a very manly man, can fix dents, ride motorcycles. But I literally, Travis Pastrana had to let out the clutch for me when I was trying to backflip a motorcycle.
Jesus.
And he's like, whatever you do, when you come off the ramp, don't let go of the motorcycle because it'll go 20 feet up, turn into a rocket, and come back down and hit you.
Ooh.
But sometimes when I'm doing stunts, people are talking to me, but I'm not listening.
Yeah, you're in your like zone.
I'm just somewhere else. And I guess that was one of those moments.
Yeah.
Because about the fourth, I think maybe every time I let go of the motorcycle.
You did it multiple times.
Yeah. And on the fourth time I let go, go straight up in the air, and my knees are behind. I hit down on my back, and my knees are behind my head. And the motorcycle comes down and breaks its handlebars off of my crotch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Was there blood?
Well, I felt like I was peeing my pants.
Sure.
So I looked, I was unzipped, and every time my heart would beat, blood would shoot out my penis.
How many people are watching your penis project out?
I only saw
you're
that.
seeing it.
I know
Okay.
Matt Hoffman or Travis may have been standing there, but I don't know.
Okay.
But I walked over to the doctor on the set, the EMT. I'm like, is this bad? Well, I knew it was bad. I didn't.
Yeah, that was a little
He goes,
redundant.
we have to get you to the hospital right now.
Because you can bleed out really quick, right? There's a ton of blood flow there.
Yeah, internally.
Did it cut the base of your penis, your perineum, your urethra?
Yeah.
Did it sever any of your vas deferens?
No. Vaz is doing fine.
It is great.
Yes.
Okay, so you can get erections and whatnot.
Yeah, well, it's funny because, I had to go straight into surgery. And the doctor came in and talked to me. Naomi was there. My wife.
Your beautiful, nice, kind wife.
Yeah, so sweet and risk adverse. Yeah. She's
Level.
Totally level. Solid.
Yeah, a rock.
Yeah, the rock. Thank God she's a rock.
Yes, you're orbiting her.
Yeah, I'm kind of hovering around. But the doctor came out and they're like, okay, you have to go into surgery. And he walked out and she was telling me it's going to be okay. And I started getting an erection right then when she was giving me a hug. So I'm like, okay, well, that's good news.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
Just from
nice.
a hug.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have a great imagination.
I think you're more virile than I am. I'm envious if you can get hard from a hug.
Yeah.
It's
You
your
have a
wife.
From your wife of a
Yeah.
while at that point.
No, she was
new.
That still happens.
Oh, from
That's
hugs.
really nice. That's
oh my
really
God,
nice.
that's really romantic.
It is.
Yeah.
Don't you think? It's
Yeah,
really
I do.
heartwarming. And you met her.
She's going to kill me for saying that.
It's a big compliment.
I know.
Thanks for saving it.
Yeah, how could she not think? But on your way to the hospital while your dick is draining tons of blood,
Right.
you must be thinking of the worst scenario, right? Like, well, that's a wrap on that dick. It's gone.
No, I mean, they take him. I was getting him loaded in the back of the emergency, the ambulance, and I was posing and flexing, and there was no
Soaking
existential
up.
crisis in that moment.
Soaking up the attention.
Yeah.
The most popular guy there.
Yeah. I was having a grand old time.
Oh my goodness.
I had the catheter twice a day for 3.5 years after that.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
And it's like a big, like 16-inch long catheter, bigger than a number 2 pencil.
Okay.
Which is weird because I'm sitting on 2 inches.
Okay.
But you'd have to put it all the way in until it hit bladder.
Ugh.
And then you'd have to push a little. When it hit your bladder, you had to push a little harder for it to go in.
Ugh.
And as soon as it went in, all the pee would rush out.
It just starts spraying out.
Yeah, it just spray out.
And
And you had to lube it
sure, I hope
because
so.
it was, you had to wet it and get it all lubed up before you put it in. But when I first started doing it, I was very careful. But you do it for a few months and it's just like,
Okay.
but sometimes like all the lube wouldn't be activated and it's just like sandpaper where it's not activated.
This is I gotta say, I think that'd be my worst nightmares, have to put something in my urethra over and over
Oh,
again. It's got to be the most excruciating experience. Is it?
Yeah, it really didn't feel great at first. But like when I woke
You
up one
came to-
morning and my boxers were covered in blood.
Oh boy.
And I was like, I was like, oh God, I hope it's the front. I hope it's the front. And I don't know why I was it's front or back. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a terrible problem to have.
I'm with you.
But,
I don't want to be hemorrhaging blood out of my ass.
But I had done it so fast that I ripped it open again.
Oh,
but not
yeah,
as bad as the
yeah.
first time. That happened a
Oh.
couple times.
Oh, PJ, you got to be more careful. Have you seen those commercials with the old cowboy who says he's been cathing for 25 years or whatever? Have you seen those?
The catheter commercials?
The catheter cowboy, yeah.
I haven't. I don't know if I've seen the catheter cowboy, but I've seen some catheter commercials and
Well, they got this one in particular where it's an
the
old
catheter cowboy.
Yeah, he's
okay,
an
we need a spokesperson.
John Oliver has now kind of taken charge of that. It's a real commercial, but then he hired a guy that does it just the same. But what's so great about the commercial, I don't think anyone's really thought of, is this guy goes, "Hey, I've been cowboying for 25 years, and I cath every day." That's how it starts, right?
Cath.
Yeah, he uses it as a verb. And the interesting thing is when you're looking at this guy, the guy has to be 75, right? So I thought, wait, he started cowboying at 50? This doesn't make any sense.
Right.
No one fucking crunched the numbers on this commercial. This guy's probably never been on a horse or anything, but at least go, I've been cowboying for 50 years.
Right,
He's
right,
75.
Well, I mean, you're right in the cath commercial. You know, he probably.
This is no assessment of his intelligence or not, but who knows if he even knows what cathing is? I mean, it could, if you've not cathed,
Yeah.
you might even think you're selling some other product, you know.
They didn't know. How did I not get that spot?
You listen, I can't imagine a better celebrity endorsement
I
than
mean,
you.
The new cath cowboy.
He goes, "I hate being in pain when I cath. So he's got some great product that makes cathing a breeze."
Why would he be in pain when I guess if the shaft was too big, it could really.
Yeah. I think it's implicit in just that his cowboying, that urethra is very girthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just looks like he's got a big old garden hose down
Yeah,
there.
it's like his catheter's like the size of a roll of dimes.
Yes. When do you meet Naomi? What age?
2000. God, I can't remember. Around there.
And did she change your life?
Yes, she did.
She did.
I'd known her a little before, and at that time in my life, she's like, I can't be around
The
that.
fireworks show.
Yeah. And I didn't hear from her for a long time, and then she came back into my life, and I always said, if she comes back into my life, I'm going to settle down.
Yeah. And then you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it easy or hard?
No, it's just something I wanted to do.
Right.
So it wasn't.
You were ready.
It wasn't hard. Yeah, I was ready.
Okay. You liked women though, right? I liked
Yeah.
them a lot.
Yeah.
Would you say that was the number one drug?
Yeah, that was part of it.
Uh-huh. And how do you shut it off? Because I have my own personal journey with that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to lose her.
Okay, that's great.
So that's
My thing was it had run the same course as drugs had, and I didn't want it for me.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
when we met, she's like, Kristen was like, I'm not sure I could ever trust you really, given your history.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm.
like, that's a legit concern. I said the only thing I could say to maybe help you would be that I'm not going to do it for you, because I'm doing it for you, and I'm in China sometime, and I don't think anyone knows me. You know, who knows what I do if I think I can get away with it? I said, but if it's for me, I can't get away with it because it's for me. You know, again, I don't know what your experience was, but mine was, you know, towards the end before I met Kristen, it was just like drugs. It was like, okay, I need to regulate how I feel right now.
Right. And it's just like you drugs, you think it's making you feel better or adds to your self-worth or, you know, it's just weird.
Validation,
weird
right?
reasons you're doing it.
Well, mine's addicted to validation. I pinpoint someone I'm sure would never like me. This person wouldn't like me, and then I go to task trying to win them over by being funny or dancing or whatever goddamn thing they want. And then if I can get them to like me, I think I'm gonna feel better about myself.
You grew up. Your dad he was an alcoholic or
drug addict, love women.
Yeah, so that was your model, and you also like you always wanted people to like you.
I wanted everyone to like me
because you're the child of an addict.
Yeah, and also I didn't do well with girls for a long time, and then all of a sudden I started skateboarding. My brother made me do my hair a certain way and started dressing me a certain way, and then all these girls liked me, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I couldn't stop.
Right,
didn't ever stop until 11 years ago.
Yeah,
because I wanted it so bad. Like elementary school, all my buddies had girlfriends and stuff, and none of them liked me, and all kinds of stuff. I also think I got molested. I think that's somehow in the stew somewhere, like over-sexualized maybe.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, we can edit that out if that makes you uncomfortable.
No, I mean...
I think it's all in the soup for me. And mostly just what you're saying, approval. I want everyone to like me. I want every girl to want to date me. I just can't get enough.
Yeah. You brought up sexual... Like, when I was 4 or 5, they would buy me Playboys, and I would sit there and look at the Playboys and name every part, and but that's
for their amusement, right?
But that was like, it seemed harmless at the time, but it's like my therapist like your youth was kind of sexualized by that.
Yeah, and also so many things that I think are awesome and they're great stories about me as a kid. I imagine putting my own children through, and then now I realize, oh, Jesus, no, that should have never been happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it was a different time.
I've been around you guys, and you guys are such a really beautiful couple, and you seem very, very happy around her, and it's kind of a cool thing to say. I want to tell you now my personal, and I brought it up to you one time, and I think it made you uncomfortable. I can't find my nicotine. Do you see me panicking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the fuck's my nicotine?
Probably in your couch.
Drugs and sex, but I gotta have my nicotine.
He's gotta have something. It's right there.
I gotta have 80 milligrams of nicotine a day to function.
How much did you start on? Like, is it used to be like 10 or 20?
It stays consistent. I do a sheet of these a day, sometimes a sheet and a half, depending on if I'm stressed about something. But I used to smoke a pack and a half of cigarettes a day, so this is much better.
Well, it's like my cousin who stopped doing drugs and alcohol, but then he started drinking like a 12-pack of Monster Energy drinks a day.
Jesus.
I'm like, no. But you're doing the same thing with the nicotine. How many sheets of that a day?
One sheet. These aren't bad for you. They raise your blood pressure. That's the single side effect of these.
That's not great.
But I have moderate to low blood pressure,
all
PJ.
Right. I'm sure you'll come out the other side. You haven't bottomed out on the nicotine yet.
How dare you sit in your ivory tower telling me I can't have nicotine. But here's my personal, so I was a fan of yours, but then I had all these personal kind of weaving back and forth with you. And it really started with me doing Idiocracy down in Austin. And you had just finished a movie like a month before. The Special Olympics movie, The Ringer. Yeah. And you had become friends with Mike Judge, maybe even long before that. But you guys were friends.
Yeah.
And Mike and I were friends, and I really liked him. And this was my first bout of getting sober, right? I got sober for that movie. I relapsed after that, but during that movie, I was sober.
Right.
And Mike and I got along so well, and I liked him so much. I idolize him.
Yeah.
And then occasionally, he'd have to break off from me because he'd go hang out with you.
Right.
Because it was time to have some cocktails and shit.
Yeah.
And that just always bummed me out through no fault of anyone's. Just me going like, God, I wish I could fucking party with Judge, and I can't.
At that point, you couldn't be around it.
Well, not only could have perhaps been around it, but I don't think he would have felt great about it. Like, he didn't want someone that's going to remember everything.
Right.
No
right,
one wants
yeah.
the dude that's going to remember the whole night with them. And yeah, probably at that time it was a much bigger thing to me. Now I could give a fuck, and you could smoke crack in front of me. It'd be fine. I think. Let's try.
Yeah.
And so then I think this little seed for me is planted, like, oh, that dude's cooler than me. Mike Judge likes him more than me, right? So this is just this is the foundation,
Right.
Then you and I are both mutual friends with Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And then I start kind of seeing you semi-regularly over at his house. I want to say I see you like 7 or 8 times. And when those times happened, you're the only person I don't talk to there. And so I then deduced...
Was it like a choice? Like, you're like,
no, I
want
very
to talk
much, like, again, I was a fan of yours. I very much would have loved to have talked to you. And then it probably, well, again, we come to this, and I'll admit this. In those times, in those couple years of seeing you, I concoct this insane story in my head, which is you hate me. And now I'm like, well, that's obvious. The guy hates me. Now, what could be one of the reasons he hates me?
Wow. Did you think I wasn't talking to you on purpose?
Yes. I
Really?
thought for sure you were not talking to me.
Right.
And one other time back in the judged thing, I somehow went somewhere with him, and there was a pool table involved, and you were there. And I also felt like you didn't want to talk to me at that time. And so I had concocted this whole thing, right, where you don't like me, and now I don't really have a reason why you don't like me.
Right.
And then I decided in my head this, like, oh, well, Punk'd came right after Jackass, so he thinks that we were ripping off his show, and then he hates me, and all this thing. And I create this whole story about why you don't like me, right? And I don't even know if you remember me saying this to you, but eventually last year I see you and I go, I'm going to be honest with you. I think you don't like me, and I concocted this crazy story, and I just had to deal with it because it was bothering me.
Oh,
and
wow.
and you go, no, I'm just shy. I've never decided not to talk to you. I've just never talked to you.
Yeah, I don't even remember you bringing that up to me. I'm in my own little world, and I also like in public place, I get very uncomfortable.
You have
So-
social anxiety a little bit?
Yes,
Yeah.
especially in crowds. And it seems like from what you're saying, like most of the times, I would see you. It was like in a crowd situation. So I kind of shut down a little in crowded situations. So I never had any reason to dislike you. And as far as Punk goes, like any shows that did anything. I mean, you guys had your own thing, you know.
Yeah,
you
whatever.
you guys had your own thing going, but any shows that kind of did anything in our area, I knew about, but I didn't want to watch them and then subconsciously pick up something, and then do it, and then I'm fucked because I couldn't. So I just
never even saw it.
Couldn't watch anything that was in our area.
I don't want to read a script while I'm writing a script, because I'm afraid somehow
something's going to
subconsciously
sink in, and then I'm going to look like I ripped somebody off.
Yeah, you think it's an idea. 4 months later, you don't even realize it's a memory and not a new idea.
And that's like I'm a little obsessive on that. Like I can't.
Right.
And it's maybe not rational. I think I can go watch all those shows now, but I just shut everything out.
Well, and also it's all on my side of the street, because not only did I concoct that whole story where you hated me, right?
Yeah,
because I was biting your style and ripping you off.
Yeah, I did none of that.
It's compounded by the fact that I liked you, and also I know things about you. Like, I know you're into country. I know we both have a kind of weird obsession with like lower income white trash culture, if I can call it that. There's like some kind of the Hunter S. Thompson thing. There's all these things I thought, oh, you and I would really see eye to eye on all this stuff. And then I'll throw in a dose of like me being jealous that you could still party. Like somehow you kept it on the rails and I didn't.
Right.
So I'm over on this side of the room having this super complicated relationship with you. You
spun out a little.
Absolutely. It's 100% in my head.
Yeah.
You don't even know any of this is going on.
I didn't know you were upset by me. I didn't know you thought, because like I would have, if I known you were if that upset, I would have come and said, gave you a hug, because
sure.
I just don't know.
You're a nice guy.
I'm in my own little.
And I used to say to Kimmel, I'm like, what? what is your interaction with PJ like? What's the basis of this friendship? Like, I'm very curious about it because I think this guy hates me. Like, I was really trying. It was occupying.
I'm sorry.
No, it's ridiculous, but I just want to admit it to your face because I feel like it might help someone else who's a lunatic about something else. And I also thought we could maybe relate on this, which I thought would be bonding. Is have you had this? You know, you started doing these stunts in reality TV, and then you want to act, and then did you have the same, like, when I first started doing movies and they would always bring up punked, it would like really trigger me, and I'm like, I'm not just a reality whatever. I had this huge complex that no one thought I was a real actor, or that I had. That's not what I was always trying to do, and I thought, you had to have gone through that, and that was something that we could bond over.
I never would twitch or cringe when someone brought up Jackass. I've always been, I know it's silly, but it's always something I've been very proud of.
Well, you should. And by the way, had I created Punked, if Punked was my show, I was just an actor on Punked. So it's not mine. And I bet, if I had like, that was my brainchild and I executed it, I probably would have carried a lot more. And by the way, now, 15 years later, I'm crazy proud of Punked. Like, I'm super happy I was on it and grateful. But there was just a period of time where I so desperately wanted to be one of these many actors that I was trying to model myself after or wanting to be. And I just felt like this thing was getting in the way, or people wanted me to just be that thing.
Yeah. Do you see a therapist or?
Well, I'm in AA. So I do a lot of
AA, but no therapy.
No therapy.
Right.
Yeah. You think I should go with you to?
Yeah, we'll go do doubles,
couples therapy.
It's like, honest, I had no idea he was so upset. Like
You'd be like, he winds himself up into these things, and then all in his head.
He gets triggered, and then he spirals, and then there's tears, and then we're here.
I think the therapist would get a real bang out of it, even if we got nothing out of it. It might make his day.
We would probably start trying to entertain and no longer trying to do therapy.
Absolutely.
We're just trying to.
And you must see a man. Do you see a man?
No.
Oh, you don't? You see a woman?
Yeah.
See, I think for me that'd be counterproductive because again, I'd be trying to like impress her or win her over in some capacity.
Right.
You don't do that?
No, you just try to be as honest as you can because otherwise, I'm just sitting there hanging picture frames.
Right. And how long have you been going to therapy?
Well, honest, right before Action Point, I stopped.
Okay.
Because I knew I was going to have to go to a certain place.
Right.
And it wasn't going to probably be a healthy place. And I'm not going to pretend here in therapy that everything's great with me.
What is the internal monologue as you're about to do something like that? Do you have to say you're a failure if you don't do this? Is there like a...
No, I don't go that direction. I just know that what I have in mind for the film and what that means and what that's going to take. And with my stunts, once I leave the ramp or jump off, so I don't know what's going to happen. So I just have to kind of let go in my mind a little.
Well, I think Tyson would go off antidepressants leading up to fights.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's been pretty vocal about. So it seems something like in that realm.
Yeah.
And who directed this one?
Tim Kirkby, English director.
Where'd you find him?
He directed Fleabag.
And you had consumed that show?
No, I didn't see it until afterwards.
Oh.
I seen a short film he did on The Clash. This girl obsessed with going to The Clash, and she meets The Clash, and I thought it was really well done. So
let me ask you this, because there's a director of the movie. There has to be a director of the movie, but this is so your world and your thing. How do you navigate that? Where you're like, cool, good idea, but it's got to go like this. Or
Tim was very collaborative. And so everything was discussion between us. There some things I stayed out of. I don't cameras and lighting. I don't.
Lenses.
I can't invest my energy in that because it's not my area. But I helped write the movie. We had a few writers. Dave Auschler and John Krinsky wrote
John Krinsky, not Krasinski.
No, Krinsky.
That
Yeah.
poor guy. So he's just a syllable away.
Yeah, yeah.
John Krasinski. But it's John Krinsky.
But Mike White helped me out near the end. Mike Judge helped us on the story.
Oh, really?
Robert Smigel did a draft. We had some amazing people work on this.
And do you like that part of the process, writing?
Yes. I get kind of obsessed with that area where it's all I can think about. I write better alone because if I'm in a group of people, I get excited and my brain starts going zzz, and I can't think clearly because
You're distracted.
Yeah, it never. It's like maybe it's like a small version of crowds. Me being around in crowds. We have done family and friend screenings and that kind of thing.
Right.
That's all very helpful to the process.
Yeah.
To see what's worked, especially when you're doing a comedy.
Yeah.
It's either people laugh or they don't.
Yeah.
It's not like a drama where it's like, I don't know what's.
Well, and also, unlike a drama, you can't put the perfect song in there and like bail yourself out. It either fucking works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Usually, I remember when we were screening Bad Grandpa, like the first couple were good, but not where all the other ones had been. And I just told Spike, I'm not going to the next one. Fuck this. I don't want to go. Of course I went. It's I'm very sensitive and because, it's all of what we did.
You. Yeah. There's really no one to point the finger at.
Yeah. So I go to them, but it's tough because I'm about over traveling and being away from my kids.
Yeah.
It's harder. It gets harder every time. And I can't do it.
To me, the first 2 days are heaven. And then the rest is just terrible. If I have to be away. First 2 days, I'm like, I sleep 10 hours. I'm like, this is awesome. I could sit here and watch TV all day long and do anything I want. Then by day 3, I'm like, who cares about any of this?
Yeah, I don't feel right. I feel like a bird that broke its wing or something. I'm not in stride, or it's. I don't like it.
Well, it's hard to say that you in a business that has attracted 1 trillion different people that are all talented in all these different ways to have really stamped out a completely original thing. Like you did is incredibly impressive.
Well, I appreciate that.
No, it's really, really almost impossible. Just when you even think about when we're talking about the first Jackass movie coming out, going like, well, that no one even did that. Like, it's all very unique and amazing, and it's a really huge accomplishment.
It's tough to think about. Oh, I did this, and and because I don't want to be that guy, and I'm not that guy.
No, you're incredibly humble. I think everyone that knows you would say about you.
Yeah, I'm just lucky.
That's why leave it to me. I'm telling you.
Okay.
You don't have to walk around like that. I'm just saying, when I think of my short time on planet Earth, there are some people who I think of like Jim Carrey, where I go, well, nobody came around and did that. That was really something to witness. That's really cool.
Yeah.
David Letterman. Wow, that was something to really set eyes on.
Yeah.
And your thing was just wholly unique and weird and interesting and hysterical, and I don't think anyone's ever gone to a Jackass movie and not fucking laugh, no matter where you're coming from. It will stand out for me as the things I witnessed. It's in that soup of like 20 things that I saw that are memorable and I'll never forget, and it's really cool. And I'm really glad you don't hate me.
No, I couldn't like you anymore.
I'll fix your car for free forever.
I'm so oblivious to. I was so I could have stopped at oblivious.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, but no, I've come to find out most of the people I were convinced that hated me, they did not hate me, or even more importantly, never even thought about me.
Wait, you've had that with other people?
Oh, absolutely.
So you really internalize any kind of rejection.
Well, like you, I'm
what you
sensitive.
perceive as rejection.
Absolutely. I've come to realize no one's even thinking about me. They're thinking about themselves. Not unlike me, I'm thinking about myself.
Right.
I adore you. Tell me when your movie comes out again.
June 1st.
And it's scary. You get super fucked up. It's going to deliver in all the ways that you've always delivered. Great summer movie.
Yes.
And don't try any of the things you see PJ do, but go and and support movies so they keep getting made, especially this one, because who the hell's making these besides PJ? Thanks for coming.
Thank you. And for the record, I love you. I don't dislike you whatsoever.
Right.
You're a great guy, a wonderful talent, and I've had a ball here today. Thank you for having me.
Now we don't have to go to your therapist. Stay tuned if you'd like to hear my good friend and producer Monica Padman point out the many errors in the podcast you just heard. Welcome to my favorite part of this podcast, which is the fact check with my good friend Monica Padman. And I before we even started, I just want to say I was in a very cranky mood when you arrived here today at the attic because the power's out. There's no water. I took a dump and I couldn't flush it, and I was panicking that you were going to come here and Rob, but way more you, and you would discover that I had made waste, and that was unacceptable to me. And I ended up getting a 5-gallon jug of water. This cost me $4 to flush the toilet because I filled the back of the toilet tank with some Sparklets or Arrowhead. Like a nice jug of.
No!
What was I going to do? I had to get rid of that before. Suffice to say,
tap water would have.
No, it was gone. No water.
Oh yeah.
No, not just in the toilet. No water here at the clubhouse. And also, I had a crazy laser procedure on my face because I'm vain and I want to look good for my new show.
But you know what?
What?
You're honest.
Yes, I got that going for me.
Yeah.
And they fucking blasted my face with like a flamethrower. You got to admit, over the last 4 days, it looked like I went through the windshield of a car and then caught on fire.
Your face looked different. I will say that.
Poor children. And so for these reasons, and I'm just sick of it. Now, I mean, it's getting better, but I'm sick of it. And then just my physical overall health, it felt like I was at a 5. And I was so cranky. And then you got here and I started opening up about it. And then you were your nice, charming self. And then here I am now. I'm hovering around 9. I just want to publicly thank you.
That makes me happy.
And then Rob took me up another 0.5.
One day, I hope we get to the point where you would have left your poop.
Yeah. I think that's the pie in the sky dream for us.
Yeah.
I'm just not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been 3 years.
I can be patient.
Okay. So let's talk about Jonathan Knoxville, because a funny thing happened that you guys don't know about that we know about.
A funny thing did happen. We can start with that.
Okay, so before Johnny even got here, PJ, I said to Monica, boy, I hope he brings up the story about me fixing his car, because that's the kind of thing I want you guys to know about me, that I'm mechanical and capable and competent. And then there he brought it up right out of the gates.
He did. You were so happy. I was really shaking my head because... I mean, for you, I wanted him to say it because I wanted you to feel bolstered.
Okay.
But I also didn't want him.
I know. I could feel that you didn't want it.
I know.
It's complicated.
I'm sorry.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah. Can we dig into that?
I don't know why. I think, well, actually, I do. Because the thing that is making you want everyone to know that part.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a little warped. Like, I don't.
Oh, surely.
Okay, good. At least we're on the same page about that.
This is like me thinking people like me because I'm a good driver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to reinforce those things.
Sure.
I think that's bad for you. I think it's unhealthy for you.
Yeah. I am also aware of the fact that just because I admit these flaws doesn't make them less stinky.
Sure.
It only goes so far.
I think it doesn't. I do think it makes it less. I think acknowledging it is helpful.
Okay, but anyways, I was going to tell him myself in the actual conversation with PJ, but then I didn't want to derail it with.
Yeah, I was also waiting for that was that part 2. I was waiting for you to be like, "Oh, I wanted you to bring that up," and I was just talking about, and then you didn't do that, so.
You were all off kilter.
I was not happy.
Oh, wow. You would have wanted me to do that. I would have assumed you thought, oh, Jesus, hear more about you. Thanks, PJ, for driving over here to hear more about Dax.
It's very vulnerable to say what you're saying right now, that you wanted people to know that.
Well, this is a triple whammy. I pooped and the toilet wouldn't flush. I had a laser treatment because I'm vain. And then I wanted people to know I can fix a car. And I'm fucking 43 years old.
It's so nice. I hope people learn from that.
Yeah.
Okay. So PJ's last name is Clapp, and we were talking about how that might be a not so great last name at that age. And in case people don't know, that's because the Clapp is gonorrhea.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows that. That's an old-timey
It is.
euphemism.
And I think people my age grew up watching a lot of Vietnam movies. And it was really common in Vietnam because people in R&R were going to these prostitution. I don't know what
Brothels?
the nice way to say it, but they would go on R&R in Bangkok. They go to Pat Pong. They did a little hanky panky, and a lot of them got the clap or gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea.
And you know, I assume younger people, probably people that listen to the show, they grew up with movies about Iraq and Afghanistan. They permeated.
Zero Dark 30.
Hurt Locker.
That airplane movie. The 9/11 airplane movie. What were 9/11 airplane movie.
Flight
yes,
something.
54.
Yeah, maybe.
Studio 64.
But you know, so people who grew up with those, the soldiers weren't banging in Iraq or Afghanistan. I went to Afghanistan twice, and I can tell you there was virtually no hanky panky going on, or R&R, or brothels. So I assume that the STD rate much lower for that set of wars. No. You know where the guys would go on R&R in those wars is they would go to Qatar, which I flew into the first time I went to Afghanistan. Very cool city. I had an idea of what that place would look like. Then we landed, and it looked like goddamn Miami. Like, had all these skyscrapers on the water, and they were all brightly lit and stuff. And I was like, not a bad place to go on R&R.
Cool.
Hope you get the clap.
Okay, there was a discussion of who gets paid the most in baseball. You said pitchers. And according to a Business Insider article in 2014, so a tiny bit outdated, no positions make more money in Major League Baseball than starting pitchers and first basemen.
Ooh, okay. So had he gone the distance, he would probably be the exact same rich as he is now after 3 hit movies. So I guess it didn't matter.
Okay. So, you referred to a surgery that pitchers get.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a common known surgery, but I didn't know what you were talking about. But you're talking about Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Which is actually called the ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction.
Tommy John surgery.
Tommy John
There's
surgery.
also a panty brand, Tommy John's, but it ain't no Me Undies. Just throw that in there. I didn't even get paid
that
for
was
that
an
one, guys.
extra. Yeah, named after Tommy John, a pitcher. 1974 was the procedure.
When it was invented on Tommy?
Yeah.
You sound super confident about that, yeah.
The procedure was first performed in 1974.
If it bears his name, I have to imagine that it was on him in 1974.
Well, it's named after the first baseball player to undergo the surgery, Tommy John. But I don't know if he was the first person to.
It's, you know,
probably.
while we're on the topic, these baseball players, they stake claim on diseases like Lou Gehrig's. That's some kind of a neurological disorder or something.
Yeah.
Clearly it existed before our friend Lou got it.
Lou Gehrig's is ALS, yeah.
ALS.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he just got like a fancy name with it.
Well, it's like when astronomers discover a star, they get to name it.
Yeah, it's unfair, really, because it's just like they want to associate the PR for the diseases wants to.
But you know, and I'm sure Magic Johnson's super happy for it. They didn't rename AIDS Magic Johnson.
I know.
Well, let me be clear. He never had AIDS.
HIV.
They never named HIV Magic Johnson.
No, they
which,
didn't.
by the way, sounds like a great diagnosis if you get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
probably for the person it's undesirable, but for the disease, I hate to say this, but they want a celebrity to get it so that they can associate the disease with a famous person and then people will care more.
Be more compassionate.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sticking to that theory. You mentioned squatty potty because you were talking about your poop ritual, your OCD poop ritual, and you were saying that you sat on the toilet
Squatted.
in a way that was reminiscent of a squatty potty. So I don't know if people know. Not everyone knows about a squatty potty, but they should.
Yeah, you love the squatty potty.
I love it so much. They're not a sponsor yet,
Okay.
but I hope they become one because
Well, and I bought you a really gorgeous one for your new apartment,
you
right?
did as a housewarming gift. A teak squatty potty.
You almost
Such
feel
an
like you're
upgrade.
yachting when you're using it, right?
Yeah. But it is a full evac.
Yeah, right. Clean, nice, clean, full evac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and it's as the monkeys poop.
Right.
So anyway,
Primates.
Johnny said Vice started in Canada, and he's just right.
Yeah,
Vice,
I was really embarrassed when he pointed that out because as soon as he said it, I was like, oh yeah, Montreal. I was
You knew
humiliated
that?
when that happened. Yeah.
why? Is it like obvious that it was?
Well, because I was saying New York. I mean, I think it went there next.
But why
Because I
is it
associate with
embarrassing?
Leslie Arfin, right? Because she wrote a column.
Uh-huh.
And then she had this great book she wrote, Dear Diary, that was compiled from Vice articles she wrote.
Uh-huh.
By the way, you guys buy that book. It's so good. And we love Leslie Arfin. Anyways, I just felt like I was trying to show him that I was cool in punk rock.
Uh-huh.
And then I
misspoke.
Yeah, like something that anyone that's claiming to be cool in punk rock should know.
Got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Right.
And I'm cool.
But you're not going for like a punk rock thing like I am.
Not anymore, because I guess it's not working. Okay, you guys mentioned Tales from the Tour Bus.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get a little more information on that in case people want to watch it. It was on Cinemax. Mike Judge created it, and it's animated.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice little mix. You do get actual archival footage of the events, and then a lot of it's animated.
About different musicians and such, right?
Yeah.
And you loved it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, so I watched the Brad Pitt clip of Jackass.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to figure out what they were riding down the street on.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because you had said shopping carts. There was a clip in that of shopping carts, but Brad must not have been in those.
Okay.
But they were a little like, they looked like, what are those cars called that like kids
Soapbox
make?
derby cars?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they were kind of in soapbox derby cars.
They were in soapbox derby cars.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Also, Brad Pitt is from Missouri, but he was born in Oklahoma.
So did that make us both right?
No, you
Oh,
didn't. say
I didn't have
that.
either of those.
I don't think you had either of those.
Okay.
But now commit it to memory.
I will.
since You love him so much.
Yeah.
Okay, you said documentaries don't make $100 million. Maybe one has. And one has. You
And
were
it was-
absolutely right.
It's Michael Moore's, right?
Fahrenheit 9/11.
Fahrenheit 9/11.
That one made $119,194,000.
Mm-hmm.
The next biggest is March of Penguins.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought it'd been another Michael Moore documentary.
March of Penguins, which made 77.
Such a cute movie. Wasn't it cute? Do you remember that?
I didn't see it.
Oh, it's so cute.
It is.
Their life is so brutal. What they do to have a little baby penguin, because they have to take turns sitting on the egg, and then their partner has to walk all the way back to the water, which is miles and miles and miles. And you see how stupid they walk.
they have
the worst.
tiny legs.
Yeah, their locomotion is ridiculous. They do a lot of sledding, in fact, because they walk so shitty that they end up sledding on their bellies, which is cute.
Yeah, it's so cute.
It's really good.
Oh, okay. Do you want to guess what the third highest grossing documentary of all time is? Now that you know those two are crossed off the list.
Yeah, so my hunch is there's another Michael Moore documentary that was really big, I feel like. And then I also want to say Inconvenient Truth's probably in the mix. What is it?
Justin Bieber, Never Say Never.
Oh, which our friend directed.
Mm-hmm. And you loved.
Yeah, and as people remember, if they listen to the Kristen episode, I murdered some pigeons on the way to see
That's
that,
right.
and yet we still left in a good mood.
That's how good it was.
That's the power of that Bieber flick.
Okay, so speaking of how much did the Jackass movies make? Jackass the Movie made $79.4 million. Jackass number 2 made $84.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
Jackass 3D, $171.7 million.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, girl,
And then
dang!
Bad Grandpa Associated, not in that same, but Associated, made $151.8 million.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that because ever since he was talking about Bad Grandpa, when he left, I was like, did that movie do well? Because I personally didn't see it, and I'm so egocentric. If I didn't see it, I think no one did. So I'm really glad to hear that made money. But it's important to remember, again, because I'm fucking obsessed with money, those things cost 5 cents to make. So they're just pure profit for everyone. I'm so happy for everyone
the
that's
best
involved.
case scenario.
Yeah, I like when people win the lottery.
Yeah. 6 people are known to have died at Action Park. the theme park.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
6 people. It was when I started delving in, there's a lot of stuff on that. Like there's like a whole BuzzFeed article. There's a lot. It's more common than I thought.
And I know people are going to be upset that we're laughing about it, but I just want everyone to recognize what we're laughing about. We are certainly not laughing at the fact that people died or were injured.
No.
We're laughing at how irresponsible it is
The
to keep a place.
absurdity.
Yes, that they would keep a place open.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you have to imagine if Six Flags in our area here had 1 death, big issue. They would continue on. 2 deaths. Wow, they're getting shut down for a while. They're going to retool some stuff. I got to imagine 3 deaths in this current era, that's lights out.
Yeah, you're getting cut.
You can't kill 6 people and stay in business.
I saw a picture of a water slide that went upside down.
Oh, great
The
idea.
water slide. That is, yeah. Oh, boy. Okay, I tried to find out how old the catheter cowboy really is.
Oh.
Problem is, John Oliver's Catheter Cowboy has really
Taken over the
searches.
searches.
Yeah, he has, and he's stolen the thunder of the original Catheter Cowboy.
That's a
Couldn't find
shame.
barely any information on him.
Ugh.
But the John Oliver Catheter Cowboy is 72.
And just by my observation, I'd say the original Catheter Cowboy is even older than that gentleman.
Maybe, yeah. We'll never know.
We won't, but it still doesn't make sense that he's only been cowboying for 20 years. No one starts cowboying at 55.
I mean,
I so love that it's
maybe
called
it's
cowboying.
also a commercial for finding your passions late in life.
Oh, I guess, yeah, it's kind of life affirming.
Mm-hmm.
Although that passion may lead you to calf,
That's
which is
true.
a mixed message.
Your passions may have some downsides, but
Mine
it's
do.
worth it.
Yeah.
Some-
You see,
yeah.
I've had a lot of surgeries.
Yeah. CTE is brought up, and people can just reference the Joel McHale fact check if they want to learn about CTE, because I
okay.
talk about that there.
Right.
I have a theory. This isn't a fact,
Okay.
but this is a theory of mine based on no science. So when he was little, he said this, when he was little, he used to go to the hospital a lot because he had asthma, bad asthma.
right. Uh-huh.
And then they used to shoot him up with adrenaline.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting to me. During some formative years, he spent a lot of time in the hospital and a lot of time getting jolted with adrenaline.
And that adrenaline was a
fix.
A fix.
Yes.
Was relief.
Yes. So, considering his choices later in life, I wonder if that subconsciously sort of drove him to maybe not do it, but why he keeps coming back to that, because it does give obviously an incredible boost of adrenaline to perform these stunts correctly, even maybe incorrectly. It still does.
Yeah, I wish I would have done a better job at getting PJ to help us understand more about his childhood, because I think there's probably a lot of stuff in there, the OCD mixed with the going with asthma. I think there's if there was ever a part 2 of this with him, I'm more curious about. I don't think you accidentally end up doing the thing he does.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Do you think my theory holds water?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing I just want to bring up from last week.
Mhm.
Last week's episode, Mark Maron.
Oh,
I
okay.
posted a picture.
Oh.
And
Yeah, you're really worried about this.
I got a lot of blowback because my shoes were on the couch. My shoes are currently on the couch.
They are.
as
I'm
we
looking
speak.
right at them.
Me too.
Yeah.
And people did not like that my shoes were on the couch, but I guess I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's it.
that's it. I'm not going to apologize for it because the owners of the couch don't care.
Let me just say, I own this fucking couch, and
Yeah.
I've had this couch for 12 years, and I don't give a shit if you put your feet on it.
Yeah.
And Monica would not come into your home if you invite her because you like her on Armchair Expert, and you invite her over for some supper, which you should do. She's a great guest. She's not going to put her feet on your couch. Don't worry about that. This is just, think of this as a sign of our closeness.
Yeah, I'm so comfortable.
Yeah, and by the way, listen, so yeah, I can tell you the line of thought. They go, shoes are dirty, they're on the ground, they're picking up germs, you're putting them on the couch. But then I'll go, okay, and then people sit on it with their jeans. The people aren't going to pull their jeans off and fucking lick the ass of their jeans. So what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
And no one sleeps on this couch. This is in an attic, guys. No one's licking the cushions of the couch. So
Yeah.
everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Don't red flag us with the health department. We don't even have water or
Honestly.
power right now. And now if you guys
Don't
start
take away our health certification. Also,
we do
no.
prepare food in here sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't get shut down.
Feet away from our toilet.
Yeah, yeah.
Kristen posted a picture on her Instagram
Mm-hmm.
the very next day of
Uh-huh.
her on a podcast, feet also on another person's couch.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to call the world out. I didn't see one comment about her shoes
Yeah.
on that couch.
Yeah. Well, she's more beloved than you nationally.
Yeah.
Today.
That's upsetting.
It's upsetting. But how do you think I feel? I'm married to her. And
Well, you're much more beloved than me.
well, you know this story that she would fart in an elevator and people would get in and 100% they were convinced that I had farted. They look at her and then they look at me and they go, wow, that guy farted, right?
Yeah.
And she would do this kind of often. And I said to her, listen, if you do this again, I am going to look at the people and say, my wife farted. That was not me. And I did that one time in a
did?
New York elevator. She farted. People got in. When we got out, I go, just want to, for the record, that was her that farted. And then they looked at me, and let me tell you how it backfired.
Yeah,
Not
I
only
already-
did they still think I had farted, they go, God, this guy farted, and he just blamed his wife. He's a
Yeah.
fucking monster.
Yeah.
And look,
Ugh,
that's
there's
just-
no winning.
That's just the price we pay to be surrounded by such a angel of goodness and light. And that's just how it's going to be, and that's okay for both of us.
Yeah. That's all.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thanks for cheering me up. And you guys, thanks so much for listening to this show. It makes me so, so happy when I see your comments on Instagram and on Twitter. But I just love hearing from you guys. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And I love you. And I love you, Monica. And I love you, Rob.